I told my family that I did not want a dog, and I was fairly clear about it. I don't want to mess the stench, the barking, or the fur that a dog would leave behind. Wife more than once, she smiled anyway. Just meet him. That was the beginning of Leo, a golden retriever with soft, fur-patient eyes, and the kind of tail that never seemed to stop wagging. I didn't hate him. I just didn't want him. He was her thing. She fed him, walked him, talked to him like he was a child. And I stayed out of it. I didn't see the point. He was a dog, a quiet shadow that followed her from room to room, sat outside the bathroom door, and waited for her to return. She loved him, and that was enough until it wasn't. It happened on a Thursday morning. I was in the kitchen pouring coffee, getting ready to leave for work. Leo came bounding and tail down, ears pinned, panting hard. At first, I thought he needed to go out. I opened the back door, but he didn't move. Instead, he grabbed the S I asked. And then he let go, ran a few steps toward the hallway, turned around, and looked at me. That was when I heard it, a dull, heavy sound like something falling, then silence. I dropped the coffee and ran, and I found my wife lying on the floor of the bathroom, with her eyes closed, her skin pale, and her breathing faint. She had collapsed without making a sound, and if it weren't for Leo, I never would have known. I fumbled for the phone and called 911. My hands were shaking as I responded to their queries, and my heart was stuck somewhere in my throat, making it difficult for me to talk. Leo never left her side. He curled up next to her, with one paw caressing her arm as if to say, "You're not alone." It was reported by the paramedics that she had experienced a dramatic drop in blood pressure, which could have been caused by a concealed condition. If she had been discovered even half an hour later, it could have been too late, but his actions prevented her from being found. That night I sat in the living room long after she'd been taken to the hospital. Leo sat across from me, still and quiet for the first time. I really looked at him, not as her dog, not as an animal, but as someone who had known before me that something was wrong, someone who had acted when I didn't even notice. I whispered, "Thank you." And he only waggled his tail once before curling up at my feet. Over the next few days, everything changed. I went to see my wife in the hospital every morning and evening. But in between those visits, I stayed at home with Leo. I found myself reaching for his leash before he even stood up. I started talking to him about things that were relatively insignificant at first, such as, "Let's go," or "hungry." Then, later on, "I miss her as well," and I believe that he understood it. He slept next to the bed on her side, and he waited by the front door every afternoon. He watched me more than he used to, or perhaps I just started to notice it. When my wife came home a week later, Leo was the first one at the door. His entire body shook with joy, and when she bent down to hug him, I heard her whisper saying, "You saved me." She was right. I didn't want a dog, but that dog wanted us, and when it mattered most, he was there before I ever knew we needed him. Sometimes love shows up in the quietest form, not in words or promises, but in a bark at the right moment, a tug on your sleeve, a presence that refuses to let you miss what matters. I didn't want a dog, but when I couldn't see what was in front of me, he did. And because of that, my wife is still